Hello and welcome to today's video from Nick Taylor Plumbing Limited. Today we're going to fit this toilet cistern onto this toilet and show you how. Like and subscribe! So this is today's cistern. What we've got these two brass threaded bars. They will go through this hole and this hole, and we secure those underneath with our washer and our wing nut, which we will go on to shortly. We've also got our toilet washer, or donut as it's called. That sits nice and snug on there. I'll need two hands to do that. That then comes up and sits on there just like that. Some people like to put a bit of silicone around there before it goes on. Some people don't. Sometimes I prefer to put a bit on, especially if it's an older toilet with an older washer. This hole here is for these. This is our fill valve. This cistern has got a blanking nut, which means if our toilet is a cold feed, the pipe work is on the left-hand side, it goes here. If it's on the right-hand side, it goes there, and we just swap those over accordingly. So now we offer it up into position. Next, we need to work out where to put our screw holes, through that hole there and that one there. We put our spirit level on so we know it's straight. Before we mark it, we need to come down here, and you can see we've got a gap there. That's where our rubber washer toilet donut, that black thing there, is holding us up. Because it's brand new, it's really good that it's pushing us up. So we need to measure that distance and mark our holes where they are, and then come down before we actually screw and make the drill hole through the wall that distance. So that is 1 centimetre for me. I've marked our hole. I'm going to take the cistern off, and then I'm going to measure 1 centimetre down and drill the hole. Like and subscribe! Okay, so the reason we brought our drill holes down by a centimetre was when we clamp the cistern down to the toilet, it'll squeeze this down to the gap we had at the front here from the cistern, which was a centimetre. So that's why we've drilled it down. And also, when we've drilled it, I've drilled at an angle coming from top downwards towards like that. And the reason for that is when we use our screwdriver, this front lip's going to hold us off, so it's easier for us to go in like that. Okay? Great. Now we're ready to put the cistern in place. I'll put a little bit of silicone around here, ready for the toilet washer to go on. You don't have to put that on. You could, some say you can use the rubber washer will do its job. Me personally, I prefer to put a little bit of silicone on. So don't worry if you haven't got any silicone, the rubber washer will be fine. Toilet washer's in place, time to lift it up. Okay, so I'm doing this one-handed, but you can see where we're lined up. I'm going to slowly, very gently lower this down so it all lines up nicely. The threaded bars have gone in nice. The rubber toilet washer's on. Silicone's all nice and oozed. That has now gone exactly where I want it. So now I get my washers and my wing nuts and tighten those on the underside of the toilet. I'll get this one a hand tight, which will mean the cistern then rocks this way. I'll then come over to this one and get that one hand tight, maybe a little bit tighter so it comes back, and then I'll go to this one and then this one and so on until it's nice and tight. This next bit's really fiddly. I've got one hand on top of the cistern, the very top, so it doesn't topple over. I've got my washer and I've got the nut in my hand. I'll be amazed if this works first time whilst trying to fill. Okay, so that's hand tight, so I'm going to come across to the next one and do the same and keep going back and forth until it's nice and tight. So we've clamped that down nice, which you'll notice reduces our gap here, which should bring our screw holes with the raw plugs in pretty much bang on. So next you get your screw. It should be either a brass or a stainless steel one so it doesn't rust, because if it rusts, the head will come off, and then, you know, a year or two's time, the cistern will fall off. Put a rubber washer on. Now, the rubber washers don't come with the toilet, which is quite frustrating, but that's the way it is. I've used a tap washer. I've seen people use pipe clips before, but the main reason for that is metal on the ceramic, it will just crack it when you tighten it up. So you need something there to just soften that. Also, expansion and contraction, and when the cold water comes in and the room temperature and so on, metal on the ceramic, if it doesn't crack when you tighten it up, it will eventually crack. And therefore you've then got mains water, which is coming in here, isn't stopping off on the fill valve, and it's going to flood the house. So we put the cistern lid on, put the toilet seat on, and pipe up the cold feed, test it, clean it up, and voila. Thanks ever so much for watching this video from Nick Taylor Plumbing Limited. Don't forget to like and subscribe.